Hello everybody, my name is Shane. I'm a lifelong sufferer of ulcerative colitis, and now they've termed it Crohn's in the last 10 years. After a bowel resection, they did a biopsy, and they've for some reason decided that it was also Crohn's now. So anyway, I have got my condition under control pretty well. It took a long time, and I was at the point where I was just a couple weeks before having the colostomy bag. It was pretty much like the surgeon was set up to do it, and it was going to be done. I'm 51 years old. My condition started when I was 6, and I've had it my entire life. So battling it one way or another, sometimes it was worse than other times. I'm sure you all experienced that as well. And over the last 10 years, it got really bad. I went in for another colonoscopy, and by the way, I've had 46 colonoscopies. So I don't know if I hold the record, but it's got to be pretty close. So anyway, I was having a colonoscopy done when I was 44, and a couple days after the colonoscopy, I got really sick. And I thought it was like the flu, and I was just going to sleep it off. I was really I'd already gotten in bed. It was a Sunday. I had to work the next day, and it's about 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and so I was just going to go to sleep and figure it'll go away. So anyway, my wife at the time, she convinced me to go to the emergency room, which was a great great suggestion. Because the surgeon said I was like 8 hours away from dying from being septic. Apparently, my colon had been perforated by the colonoscopy, and I was leaking contents into my bloodstream, and they had they hit it with every antibiotic they could find, and somebody from the church at the hospital came in and read me my last rites, the whole 9 yards. I mean, it looked really bad. And then they said, all right, we're going to do surgery. And by this time, it's like midnight or so. And he said that they can have a team there in like a half an hour. And I'm like, whoa, a team. All right. So anyway, they went in, they took 2 feet out. Fortunately, my GI doctor, who'd been my doctor for like 10 years, or probably longer, convinced the surgeon to only take out the section that as minimal as little amount of colon removal as possible. The surgeon really didn't like that. He said it was like sewing wet Kleenex together, but he figured because I was only 44 that he would try it, and if it didn't work, they'd go back in and then do the colostomy. So fortunately, it worked. It wasn't a good surgery. It took a good 3 months to recover from it, but I got to keep most of my colon, so that was good. And it kind of fixed me up for a little while, but then things started getting worse, and over the last year, at the end of, or the beginning of 2021, which was 12 months ago, I was really bad. So the surgeon was going to come in. I was a couple weeks away from having the surgery done, and it was terrible. So I was all prepared to have the colostomy done and just hope for the best. And the surgeon told me, he's like, this doesn't cure everything. It's going to help some things, but it's going to make other things worse. So in order to avoid that surgery, I said, hey, why don't we, and I'm kind of speeding the story up because I was in the hospital 5 times during that year. And anyway, I said, listen, why don't we try a no food diet, nothing to eat or drink, just feed me through an IV and give my colon time to heal up. And the reason I suggested this is because I had done it, or the doctors had asked for it to be done to me when I was 21, and it actually worked. And at that time, it was like 3.5 months of no food, no drinking at all. And it was much different back then, and that was like 91 when they did that. But it worked. It bought me about another 23 years without having to have the surgery. So anyway, I said, why don't we try that again and see if it works? And the surgeon said, hey, I've heard of that before. Like, it wasn't his idea, it was my idea from things that happened to me before. And they always say, you know, you're your own best advocate when it comes to healthcare. And obviously that is true. I mean, doctors are great, but they don't know everything, and every person's condition is a little different. So I said, hey, let's do the no food thing. And so the way they do it now is they call it TPN, total perinatal nutrition, I think it is. I'm sure everybody knows what I'm talking about. And anyway, I had to be hooked to a bag for, first started out as 24 hours a day for a couple weeks, and then it went into just 20 hours a day, which gave me a little bit of mobility, but not much. I was trying to work and do this at the same time. And they were able to put it in a backpack with a portable, battery-operated, what do they call it? The thing that delves out the nutrition, or gives me the nutrition. So it's portable. It was great. And so every day my wife would clean they gave me a port, and they threw a PICC line, and every day she would clean that, change the bag, change the dressings and everything, or the connections, and then had me set up for the next day. So that time, or the last time here, I did it for 2 months, and it made a world of difference. I was on steroids for like 3 years before this, and the doctors just told me, they said, you can't continue to be on steroids. And even though it was helping, I knew that they were right. So anyway, after the TPN, I was no longer on steroids, and I haven't been on steroids now for probably 7 months. And my weight went from 208, because I was all bloated from steroids, back down to where I normally am at like 180, 182. So that was great. But yeah, it was about 8 weeks of no food at all, and nothing to drink either. I could have some sips of water. That was about it. And after a couple weeks, you kind of get used to it. It's just, your body kind of learns to kind of forget about it. And it really did heal me up. I mean, it made a world of difference. Through that time, I was also taking tellera, and I'd been taking tellera about 8 months before, prior to the TPN, and then they continued the tellera while I was on the TPN. And for me, they started out with tellera at once every 8 months, once every 8 weeks. That was kind of working, so they went down to once every 6 weeks, and that worked a little bit better, but not great. And so they finally went to once every 4 weeks, and it did the trick. It worked like a champ. So yeah, the insurance company had to do a special approval for it, and there was also some copay assistance through the manufacturer called Janssen Care Path. So that they did a really good job on getting together, and my copay for it was $5, and the total bill for each one was like $22,000, believe it or not. So I don't know how they make a bunch of money, but they do somehow, even with that kind of copay. I don't know how the whole thing works, but it was great for me. So anyway, yeah, I'm on tellera for every 4 weeks, and then combined with the doing the TPN to allow myself to heal back up. It looks like I've avoided the colostomy bag for at least a few more years, so I'm feeling pretty good. So I wanted to let everybody else know that that worked. I'm also some of the other medications I take are I take mesalamine, which I've been taking for probably 30 years, and I take Lamodal, and I also take Colestid, which I take 3 of those tablets a day. I know they're big whopping pills, but they're supposed to lower your cholesterol. I didn't have a problem with cholesterol. A side effect of Colestid is that it lowers your bile output, and that it made a big difference for me. So once again, that was something I came up with from talking to other people that had Crohn's, and it seemed like it worked. So I've been on it ever since. It's been working great, and that particular drug has very little side effects to it, and it also lowers your cholesterol, so that's good too. And the last drug I take is hycosiamine. Hycosiamine is the way I'm going to pronounce it, and it's 0.375. It's an extended release anti-diarrheal medication, and I guess it's been around for a long time, but I had only heard about it in the last couple of years. So the doctor put me on it, and in conjunction with everything else, and it's been working really well. So I'm able to go back to work, normally, and not have to worry about running the restroom all the time. And with the whole COVID thing, a lot of restrooms were closed, so I I know it put a damper on a lot of the activities that we normally do as Crohn's patients. But anyway, yeah, this has really helped out. So I was hoping that make this video and let everybody know that there are some other things that work, and some people might have already known all this, some people don't. So anyway, hopefully you got learned a little bit out of it, and maybe point you in the right direction, or ask your doctor about some of the things I mentioned, and hopefully it'll get you fixed up, because we all know how miserable this disease can be sometimes. So anyway, good luck, hope you're well, and see you next time maybe. Bye.